Welcome to Cord Cutting Today, where we break down some of the biggest stories happening in the world of cord cutting, including Comcast is shutting down its streaming apps, trying to move all of its cable TV subscribers to Peacock. We'll tell you what's happening there. Another free streaming service is finally shutting down after months of it supposedly happening. They finally pulled the trigger and shut it down. We'll tell you which one and where all that content went. And YouTube TV has struck a last-second deal to keep NBC content for now. We'll tell you what's happening with these stories and a lot more. And there's a lot more. It's been a busy week. We got a lot to cover. You can find a link to each story I talk about in the show notes and in the first pinned comments. You can read them for yourself. Come up with your own opinions. I'll love to hear from you. If you would like, we do have a free daily email newsletter where all these stories and more get sent to your email box every morning. So if you listen to us on your commute, maybe you're busy, you want to come back later and find a story, it's sitting right in your email box. Check that out in the show notes. You can sign up for free for our daily or weekly newsletter. And lastly, if you like what we do here, please consider hitting that subscribe button, hitting that thumbs up. Doing one or both lets YouTube know you enjoy what we do here. All right, let's dive into it. Starting off with NBC Universal, Comcast's cable TV parent company there, as it prepares to spin off its cable TV companies into an independent company by the end of the year for most of its channels, including Sci-Fi, USA Network, MSNBC, and more, has started to shut down many of its cable network apps on devices like Roku's and Fire TVs and put up placeholder messages directing people to sign up to Peacock to access this content. Excuse me. Now, we've seen other companies like this do it. Warner Brothers Discovery has done similar things with it as they shut down many of the apps for its cable TV companies and direct them to get things like HBO Max. Now, the downside is it used to be these apps would have a collection of free content on them you can enjoy. Especially the Disney app back in the day with my daughter when she was young, I used to find a lot of Disney Junior content on there for free that rotated every week. Well, those days are all gone. They want you to subscribe to things like Peacock, HBO Max, and Disney Plus with it. It is interesting, though, to see Comcast shut this down ahead of the spin-off of these cable networks into an independent company, still owned by Comcast, but independent of Comcast with it. We'll keep an eye on that, but if you're used to using your cable login to get Sci-Fi or USA Network apps through there, now you're going to have to go get it through Peacock. All right, another another media company has shut down a free streaming service. Amazon's Freevee service. Now, this one has had a long story, but it's finally shut down. Now, Freevee was a free ad-supported streaming service from Amazon. A lot of good content on it, both a bunch of channels, hundreds of channels, and even a lot of original content, like the new Judge Judy show, exclusively streamed on FreeStream. Now, Amazon has moved that content over into the Prime Video app from the Freevee app. I was just seeing if I still had it sitting here. I don't think I do right now. But the Freevee app is now no more. Now, they announced over a year ago that it was going to shut down. They made it clear late in August of this year that they'll shut down sometime in September. And they did a phased shutdown. Some devices lost access in early September. Roku, being one of the last, did not lose it until the very end of September. And now in October 1st, Freevee is completely a thing of the past. Now, some people pointed out that it's harder to find some of the content in Prime Video, and that's true especially for the on-demand part, but they do have a live tab where you can find all the live channels you used to get through Freevee with it. But one more free ad-supported streaming service gone. It does not seem to be quite as much content in this, and I don't know if they're going to be putting as much work into it as they once did. All right, next up, YouTube TV has struck a last-second deal to save NBC Universal, but did lose some channels last night. I was up late into the night with this, and shortly after midnight, NBC Universal and YouTube TV announced that they reached a short-term extension to keep the channels on YouTube TV as they hammer out a new rights deal. Exactly how long this deal is for, no one knows. Both NBC Universal and YouTube TV are being very mum on it. This is much like what we had with Fox, where it went down to the last second. They got an extension, and then a couple days later they had a final deal. Maybe we'll see the same. It is still possible that even with this extension, a final deal will not be reached. But it's a good sign that an extension was reached. It tells us that they were fairly close, at least on principle, to making a deal work. with this. But with it though, the Monument Sports RSN from Washington, D.C. that shows professional sports in the Washington, D.C. area did get removed from both Hulu and YouTube TV. They did not strike a deal. Also, Televisa, however you say it, the Spanish channels also failed to reach a deal with YouTube TV. They were removed from YouTube TV. Reportedly, YouTube wanted to move them into a Spanish language add-on, not as part of the core package. Fubo also, not that long ago, removed those channels from their lineup. So not a big surprise that YouTube TV did with that. We'll watch this closely, but YouTube TV has been taking a harder stance. It's reported that some of the argument here between the two sides is over Peacock and whether or not to bundle it and how to bundle it into YouTube TV subscribers to give it to them for free. All right, next up, the FCC is moving forward with a plan that we've been talking about for a while, and this would be to reevaluate bans on mergers and acquisitions of the big four networks. What are the big four? ABC, CBS, Fox, and NBC. Now, this does not mean like Disney buys NBC Universal. This is more about the independent station owners buying each other. There's been kind of a rule that for a long time with the FCC that one company can only own one major TV station. So if you own the ABC in where I live, for example, you can't also own the CBS. Now that's being challenged now as Nexstar is in the process of buying Tinga, another massive owner of local TV stations, for about $6.2 billion. This will result in them owning multiple major stations in multiple markets. We'll see how this plays out. Traditionally, with a few exceptions, one station owner cannot own more than one per market. There's also caps on how many radio stations they can own in one market, for example, historically. We'll see how this plays out. Definitely, station owners have long dreamed of being able to consolidate down and own multiple stations in each market, but we'll watch it. What does that mean? We're already seeing some local news stations shut down their local news broadcasts and get their news from other stations. I predict if this happens, we'll see why have Nexstar own news on two competing channels with two competing newsrooms competing against each other in the same time block when one group of news can air on both stations at the same time. I predict that's kind of where we're going to see some of this to go. I've been a big advocate for local news, and I fear that local news is drying up as we're increasingly seeing companies outsource it, get rid of it. We'll still lean into it. This could reduce local news with it. We'll see what happens with it. All right, Amazon is improving its cloud gaming system, Luna. Now, this is a gaming most known for the Fire TV. You can connect a Fire TV controller to or Bluetooth controller to your Fire TV and play video games. They've been expanding it to their tablets and other devices recently. They just did a massive overhaul of it with new game nights, party games, and more as part of a Prime members perk to get more video games streaming to you through your Fire TV. Now, if you're a gamer and you've been considering it, you may want to check it out. Fire TVs have always been a bit of a gaming system, but now they're increasingly becoming a more powerful gaming system thanks to this new cloud system from Amazon. All right, let's keep moving along here with all this. Now, one note, we talked about Hulu Plus Live TV and YouTube TV, both driving the Monumental Sports Network in the Washington, D.C. area. DirecTV did add it, this time as an add-on, they just announced today. If you're a DirecTV customer, you can get the RSN now as an add-on. One interesting thing here, I think, is it makes it harder for this RSN now to try to make it a mandatory that they get this through the base package on YouTube TV. Now that's being offered as an add-on for DirecTV. We'll keep an eye on that, but good news if you're a DirecTV customer, you are getting a new RSN. All right, MeTV is adding a new show to its lineup, and this one was actually surprisingly controversial in our comments section over on Facebook, Twitter, or I should say X, and the website. You let me know if you think this was controversial, but Everybody Loves Raymond is coming to MeTV, as MeTV is expanding to more recent TV programs with this. I kind of remember thinking it was controversial when Nick at Night started showing shows I did not consider to be classics. I'm like, I grew up with that. That's not a classic. It was aired when I was alive. And I think people are having a similar reaction to Everybody Loves Raymond joining MeTV. You can check out the full lineup change in our post, but let me know. Are you upset that MeTV's adding newer content like Everybody Loves Raymond? Let me know. Some Today in TV history ones. Now this one kind of shocked me. 33 years ago this week, Cartoon Network first premiered. Now, funny story about this. My brother and I were in school with Cartoon Network. We've been seeing the ads forever. I can't remember if it was called Comcast back then or AT&T cable, whatever it was. I think it was Comcast at that point. They had bought AT&T's cable where we lived. And we were excited. My brother had the day off from school because he was in the next grade system up, and I did not. And he kind of rubbing in. He was going to watch cartoons all day on Cartoon Network. Got home from school, excited to see it, to find out, yeah, it did launch, but not in my area. Our cable provider did not include it in the base package, and we didn't have the more expensive package to watch it. So unfortunately at the time, no Cartoon Network for us. But I always remember that, my brother kind of rubbing it in when I was getting ready to go to school, and he had the day off. I think it was a Friday. And very funny that, you know, those things you remember. Getting home, all excited to see Cartoon Network, to find out it wasn't there. Anybody remember Cartoon Network launching? Let me know your stories. Also, this one does not seem possible, but it's been 19 years now since the show Dexter first premiered. I loved this show. Still love it. Have not seen the new one. I gotta find some time to watch. I hear really good things about it. But my wife and I watched every season of Dexter together. We loved it. Cannot be possible. It's been 19 years since Dexter first came out. But it has. Hey, if you're looking to save some money, I know Hulu Plus Live is going up to almost $90 a month later this month, but for a limited time, new customers can sign up and get a month of the service for $64.99. If you've been thinking about trying it out, this could be a good time at a good price. Also, Roku has announced some new Roku TVs from Philips. Now these ones come built in with ambient light. That's the light that kind of reflects off the back of the TV on your wall to match whatever's happening on the show. Philips coming out with some high-end TVs on Rokus with that from them. I had a Philips TV. It was one of my first flat-screen TVs we ever had. Now they're back, this time heavily invested in Roku OS. Well, that's it for today. I hope you have a fantastic day. I'll be back again tomorrow with another video. Until then, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. It really does help us. We post videos almost every day. Until then, take care. Be safe. I'll talk to you all again tomorrow.